January the 1st of the year. As you're tuning in on X, or you have already, please note that the call is being broadcast from Huddle. So if you'd like to post a question or join the conversation later on, you're kindly invited to join Swarm Discord server and post your questions in stage chat, as this is audio only. Let's look at what's on the agenda for today. First, as usually, we'll start with core development updates, and next we'll hear about the Swarm plugin to Hedera. And after that, we'll invite to the stage a community member who will present his X402 protocol integration with Swarm. All right, let's kick things off. For core dev updates, I'll have Callum joining me. I hope we hear you, Callum. Just say hello, please.
Hi, Mia. Hopefully you can hear me.
All right, cool, excellent. I'm being paranoid now after we had like a rough start. So B 2.7 is scheduled to go live in February, I hear, and it's a safe drop-in upgrade. No migrations, no required config changes, and all new features are opt-in. This release focuses on three things. First one would be auto TLS and secure WebSockets. Callum, please, what's that?
Yeah, well, first off, yes, we've been waiting for the 2.7 for a while, just to clear up the point that you just made, that it's, safe drop-in upgrade, no big configuration changes. The only reason for a delay is because of a backwards compatibility bug, which is now resolved as well. So that still stands correctly. But yes, the main component of this release is the auto TLS and the secure WebSockets as well. What does that actually mean? It means that the bees can actually obtain and manage TLS certificates and expose secure WebSocket endpoints by themselves, which basically lays the groundwork for standard browsers to connect to the bee without custom proxies, hand roll certificate setups, things like that. So what that really unlocks is the ability for us to have the next big product, which is in-browser client implementations, which I would say after the B port, that's the next greatest product that we could hope to have. And so this release is a real cornerstone because of this very, very specific detail.
Definitely, and there are a couple of separate efforts going in the direction of the in-browser node, and that's also something you'll be hearing a lot more about in the, I hope, next month's call, but definitely in the very near future. So second thing that's included in this upgrade is focusing around network flexibility. So there are multiple underlay addresses. I guess that also kind of facilitates what we've already mentioned, Callum.
Yeah, exactly. It's just optionality, right? It lays the groundwork for a whole load of implementations that, yes, we know today, but could become even more useful tomorrow, like between, TCP or the WebSockets that we just mentioned as well. But of course, nodes can basically advertise and store more than one underlay address at the same time. But this is obviously opt-in and just, again, gives the groundwork for a smarter transport selection at a later date, whatever you want to decide which you want to use for what reasons, for what performance, etc., etc. So again, we're just opening doors to everything and anything to create all of the performance that we want to see with the network based on all the implementations that hopefully get built on top of all of the changes that come out with this release.
Exactly. And the third thing which we also want to see is improved retrievability, and that's also included in this package. So it's a durability and stability thing.
Yeah, well, fan favorite, basically the erasure codes are in here as well, as per always. But what we've got is basically improved those to reduce cases where recovered chunks later became unreachable after evictions. So basically just making this more improved, more robust for real world retrievability. And again, there's a lot of robust retrievability fixes in here as well, which is pin chunks no longer evict, ENS resolution failures no longer crash nodes. And the ultralight nodes basically start correctly without using posted snapshots as well. So everything in here is basically the way it should be. So a couple of nice fixes go along with things.
So B 2.7 in a nutshell: browser connectivity foundations, more flexible networking, and a meaningful step up in durability and node stability would be the sum up.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say it's a big open door to build a lot of great things on top of all of those.
Fantastic. If you're a node operator listening in or a developer and want to prepare for the upgrade or ask questions about the release, Please join us at Discord in Node Operators channel or in any of the other channels, actually. That said, Callum, please do proceed with the research updates.
Sure. Well, for the research updates, it kind of carries on, I suppose, quite nicely from the last point of erasure codes, which is just how do we look after the protocol? How do we handle retrievability? How do we handle network stability? As a result, most of the focus has been on the pulsing protocol as well, which you'll see SWIPs moving around the repositories. There's a lot of work and conversation and development efforts heading in that direction. And again, what's that going to actually deliver for us? Quite a lot. It will really help us with syncing in general, specifically syncing around depth changes that directly corresponds to network stability, sample creation, you name it. That is such a key cornerstone that we want to keep improving. And it's quite a big piece of work that's being delivered from us. And then on the absolute shorter term, so hopefully I would say considered in the next release, would be withdrawable stake, along with the queue system of how we actually handle those withdrawals in real time as well, which is quite exciting, which leans really towards the tokenomics and the staking or incentives changes that we're working on, considering and rehashing, thanks to a lot of really solid community input and support and proposals. And also we're working on basically node rebalancing SWIP as well, or a good effort to say, well, when depth changes happen, how does the network actually properly rebalance itself, again, to add to network stability. So I would say all of the research efforts at the minute are here to prop up the good work of the B team, the client team, to basically create all these applications and all these projects that can build on Swarm. And the research team at the minute is really trying to do great work to batten down the hatches to keep everything as smooth and as stable and as normal as possible.
Fantastic. That's also how it sounds. And again, I invite you all to be part of this conversation, because I know these are some topics that raise great interest among the community members to come to Discord, and we can continue this discussion online there. So Callum, please stay with us in case there are any questions. But let's proceed now to the focus section of today's call, and that would be titled When Ledgers Meet Storage. So you might have caught the news announcement in our Solstice event already in December, but I'm happy to repeat it clearly again. We're very pleased to share that the Swarm plugin has been accepted into the Hashgraph repository. It's a small code edition, but it enables a useful architectural pairing. So Hedera as a fast, verifiable ledger of events, and Swarm as a peer-to-peer user-run storage delivery layer. Hedera is not a blockchain in a narrow sense. It runs the Hashgraph consensus algorithm and is designed to reach agreement quickly, fairly, and efficiently. There's no mining and no blocks to prune. Transactions flow through a directed acyclic graph and settle with mathematical confidence. So like most ledgers, Hedera is not meant to store anything. Its job is to notarize what happened while leaving the heavy bytes elsewhere. And that elsewhere needs to be user-controlled and durable, in our opinion, or the system quietly slips back to centralized storage. So this is where obviously Swarm fits naturally. Swarm provides that content-addressed peer-to-peer delivery. Put another way, Hedera tells you what happened and when, and Swarm makes sure the associated data is still there. So together, they map cleanly to a common pattern in systems that coordinate action over time. I would now invite Andre to the stage to lead us through what exactly Swarm plugin adds, the concrete tools to Hedera-based agents and applications, and to also present us the latest integration that's still pending review, the Hashgraph desktop integration. Andre, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mina. Let me share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Absolutely. I mean, I can.
Awesome.
I hope everybody can.
Awesome. So I'm going to present the integration of the Swarm functionality in the Hashgraph desktop app, and to give a preamble, we have developed the Swarm plugin for the Hashgraph conversational agent. This happened late last year. And the conversational agent is like a natural AI tool for interacting with Hedera network, like querying accounts, transactions, smart contracts. You can send the HBAR from one account to another. And now Swarm plugin gives the agent persistent storage that's censorship resistant. And the agent can own its own data. And this app, whole desktop, is a Tori cross-platform desktop app, and it provides the UI for the agent, and it has a bunch of integrations. So I'm going to do the demo. I pre-recorded it because some prompts take longer on my local setup and would extend the presentation by too much. So I ran the prompts, I paused and resumed to limit the wait times. Okay, so you can see this is basically the homepage of the whole desktop. And there are a couple of sections in which Swarm was integrated. First of all, there's the plugin section. So there you can enable or disable the plugin. You can see on the right-hand side, the Swarm plugin, it's enabled. The next section is for the configuration of the plugin. So if you're familiar with Swarm NCP, basically they are the configurations from there. This is the Hedera configuration, like Hedera account, private key, and the network. It's set to testnet here. And we added this. This is the Swarm configuration page. So you have a few setup config values here. So BAPI URL, this is my local node. You can also use with some limitation the gateway, like you don't have access to stamp management and also a query for deferred upload. You have the feed to the private key. Now auto sign postage stamp batch. So when you do prompts that involve a stamp, like uploading files, updating feeds, you need the batch ID, and if you can supply that in the prompt, but if you don't, and this is set to true, then the stamp with the highest capacity will be automatically used. You also have deferred upload size threshold. So files that are above this threshold are uploaded in the deferred mode. So they don't block the agent, and you can query the upload via a tag ID. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, so the next section would be the AI models. For the whole desktop, you have a few options. You have providers OpenAI and Anthropic. You then supply the API key. This is for OpenAI, and you select the model. I have here GPT-5. And in the last section, the advanced section, there's you can enable or disable the plugin here as well. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the actual important part, the agent chat part. Okay, connect to assistant. And to frame this, this is like a sample scenario. Let's say you're running a virtual AI gallery, AI image generated gallery. So you need to upload the images, the gallery images. You need to store the metadata for the image, for the gallery in a feed. So this will go through like some sample prompts for managing that. So this is done with a human in the loop, but you can also envision it like agent to agent, like another agent giving the instructions to manage the gallery, to upload the images, update the metadata. And the first prompt will be so first of all, we need to create a postage batch for storage space. And here we are creating one with the duration of 1 week, 102 megabytes, and label art gallery. Okay, it may take a few minutes. I paused here and waited a few minutes and then listed. You'll see a double response. I ran this command twice to double check. So when I paused here, then I unpaused. Okay, so yeah, you can see this was the batch, a capacity 102 megabytes. Time to live 6 days. I guess the clock started ticking and fell below 7 days. And the next prompt, let's say we want to extend the duration of the art gallery, so we extend the stamp by a week. by 1 week to make the gallery last longer. Okay, and if on the 2 prompts ago we asked for it to list the batches, and now we're gonna explicitly request this batch based on its reference. Okay, so please show me postage batch, and I gave the reference that it had been pasted. Okay, so time to leave 13 days. Those 6 days were extended by 7. And I think now we're gonna upload the first image. Yeah, so you can see here I gave the path to Neon City PNG for species using post, and I referenced so I explicitly said that to use that postage batch. This could have been left out, and then an available batch and the one with the highest capacity would have been used. And I asked it to include both link and reference in the reply because I needed those for the metadata of the gallery. Okay, some reference, there's a link to the image. Okay, and now, yeah, so now I'm gonna download the image. This is a downloads folder, you can see it's empty. Quick to verify it's here, download, and I gave the reference on the previous reply, and I specified the download path. Now it will say it will take a few more seconds. So it said this verification is complete. We'll see it will take a few more seconds. I'll need to go to a parent folder, I guess, to refresh or something. It wasn't, there was a latency here. Okay, so I go to the parent folder and go back to downloads, and it's there. And this is the masterpiece. Okay, so this worked. And now we're gonna create the feed for the gallery metadata. So you can see I pass basically, there's a feed with topic art gallery metadata, and I passed in an array of objects. This is, and the only object is for Neon City, the name, the reference I got from the prompt, and the link to the image. Okay, so these are the details for the feed. Okay, this will be the second image added to the gallery. Same structure, I mean, passing in the path, the batch. And now we're gonna also, yeah, we'll also update the metadata. So yeah, you can see it's an array with both objects, both images, with containing their names, references, and links. And we're gonna finally read we'll check that the feed is actually there. We're gonna read it. Let's see the current list of art pieces, their names, links, read feed, alert gallery metadata. So these are the two images, and we're gonna download, we'll check that Cosmic Galaxy is there. So I copy the link location. Yeah, so this is the second image in the gallery. Yeah, so this was the presentation. If there are any questions.
I'm not seeing them, but you've been very thorough. Thank you for this presentation. It looks lovely. So this is all now pending to be part of the products of Hedera or like a Hashgraph desktop app, if I understood you correctly.
Yes, there's a PR open for this. The conversational agent part has been merged last year. This is exclusively for the desktop.
I see. Well, please do stay in the call for a bit longer in case there are questions from the audience. But with that, I will now just proceed to our next section, which is community talk. So for community talk, I'm very pleased to welcome a community member known as Octal Mage. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or Octal. Hello and welcome. As an intro, just to do a little brief intro, Octal entered a hackathon at the end of last year. I think I'm not. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. He wrote about it and about the initial idea at the Swarm's Discord channel in Builders section. So if you're interested to hear more after we're done with this call, or you would like to contribute or in any way get involved, I invite you to come to our Discord. But yeah, the initial hackathon idea was X402 endpoint for short-lived content on Swarm. So now I'll just let you, Octal, present the whole thing from the top yourself. Do we hear you?
Awesome. Sounds good.
Oh yeah, we hear you. So yeah, take the stage, please.
Awesome. Gonna share my screen really quick. And yeah, I mean, this idea kind of started in the Discord, and I got really great support from, the community and the team members. So I definitely appreciate everyone's help there. Let me get this. Here we go. All right. So, for this hackathon project, it was an X402 specific hackathon project. I wanted to, first have an opportunity to learn and experiment with X402, but also get some more hands-on experience with Swarm itself from the, developer's perspective. And the idea is very simple. Use X402 to pay for storage using USDC. And, this was a very Coinbase USDC focused hackathon. So I wanted to leverage those technologies to, enable uploading to Swarm. So X402 is super new, but it's built on a really old status code. The 402 status code has existed since, I think, 1997. It's kind of been a part of the HTTP standard for a long time, and it really hasn't been used by anyone this entire time. And I think the idea was, if you have an API that requires payment, you could return a 402 status code to indicate that, hey, you actually have to pay for this. You can't just access it freely. And so X402 is kind of built on top of that standard. And the way it works is very simple. You first make a request to an API that's, X402 enabled, and it will return a 402 response and indicate, hey, this is a paid API. These are the tokens that we support. And, this is the chain we support. And so then you, as either a developer or an agent, can look at the payment details, and you make that request again, this time including the signature that transfers those tokens. So, in our example, our endpoint will take USDC, and it requires 4 cents for the cheapest option it serves. So when you make that second request, you include a signature that transfers, the 4 cents in USDC. And that's really all there is to it. You don't actually have to submit the transaction. It's strictly just the signature is enough. And in the background, there's a facilitator, is what they call it, that will actually pay, to submit your transaction and to actually transfer the funds. So you don't even actually need a wallet with gas. As long as you have, the USDC, everything else is kind of handled for you. So I thought this was a great opportunity to, bring storage enabled to X402 applications. So really the big use case I've seen so far is AI agents and, just AI in general. If you are working with a model and you develop, let's say you're working on a web page and you want to be able to share that web page that it built with others, you can easily use this endpoint to upload it to a publicly accessible link on Swarm and then share it to anyone. You can post it on X or post it in Discord, and it's just immediately super quickly available. I think it also currently the X402 is really popular with developers on Base, so this kind of exposes Swarm to developers on Base and just the wider X402 ecosystem. It's really not, even Ethereum specific. There's X402 on Swarm and other systems as well. So it's been pretty widely adopted. So I'm just going to go very quickly into how it works. First, you make a request to the prepare endpoint. This is where you specify, how much storage you're trying to acquire. We support, 1 day, 7 day, or 14-day timeframes, and currently we only support USDC on Base. So, first you make that prepare request. This is where you actually pay, and then once you've completed the prepare request, you can make a request to upload where you actually submit your files. And right now, only up to 100 megabytes is supported. And then once you've finished uploading, you'll get back a link to your content. And that's really all there is to it. Just to go a little bit into how it works on the back end. So when you call prepare, we'll verify that we received the required payment. So like I mentioned before, if this was for the 1 day, that's going to be 4 cents in USDC. And when we realize that payment was valid, we'll go ahead and purchase the stamp, and we return a token you can use in the future to then upload your content. So you only pay, once when you call prepare, and then for the second request, whenever you go to actually upload your files, you supply the upload token you got in the first step, and then we'll verify that token. And then we use client-side stamping to, chunk and upload those files to a Swarm gateway. And this, I would say this step was kind of one of the more difficult steps, just because it required a couple of PRs and changes to the actual Swarm gateway. But I think once we get that merged, this should become, way simpler, and it should work with any Swarm gateway that's out there. So I got a super quick demo. Primarily Swarm is used, or X402 is used for machine to machine, but I went ahead and put together like a quick web page just to demonstrate how it works. So I'm going to upload a full website. I just dropped a folder on the page, and I'm going to go ahead and select the 1 day duration here. And so what you can't see that's happening is I'm actually approving the transaction in my wallet. And so you can see it says payment signed and processing. There is like a 30-second to 1 minute delay while the stamp propagates across the Swarm network. So once it starts propagating, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. So now, the files are uploaded, and we're just waiting for the response back to tell us that everything's been uploaded and we're good to go. All right. And so this is kind of what an agent will see is once you call upload, we just respond with a link to the Swarm gateway, and this is the link that's all like automatically publicly available. You could use it on any gateway, share it with anyone, and I'll go ahead and open this one really quick. Yeah, and so here's the website that we uploaded or that we were working on. And like I said, this link is immediately works and is public and will be online for at least 1 day, or if you picked 14 days, it's like a minimum of 14 days, but depending on evictions and other stuff, it could last longer than that. And that's it. So this is live now. You can access it at x402.08.is, and on that page is all the documentation that goes into how to access it, and then it's also the source code's available, so if you wanted to see how it works or contribute to it, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think it really just depends on what users want and what kind of feedback we get or I get. And yeah, so this is a very quick project I did for a hackathon. I've been building a lot with Swarm and hope to talk more about another project I'm working on coming in the next couple of weeks or month.
You're very welcome to give us like a sneak peek into what you're thinking your next step would be. That's one of my thoughts looking at this presentation just now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think, having websites hosted on Swarm is something that I'm super interested in. And that's something that, like, I think should be more common with dApp developers. I've experienced, you use a dApp and then you go away for a couple months, come back and the website's down, and you have to, go to Etherscan and figure out how to actually interact with the contract. So I've been working on a project that uses Yield to pay for your stamps automatically, and this is something that I've been using for probably a month now. And yeah, I think it's really powerful to have Swarm storage that is potentially permanent, depending on how well that yield pays out. Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm working on. Because there's smart contract elements, it's a little bit more risky than this, but it's leveraging a lot of the same technology and libraries that I've developed for this. So yeah.
Super exciting. Can I just go back a little bit, because I did mark something down while you were going through the slides. So is this like a one-time upload token or usable until capacity exhausted? So this goes in direction of Swarm's stampage proposed stamp
Right.
batches. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking more of it as like a one-time token. So that's where, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement. I think the use case we've really seen so far is if you're, like I said, if you're working with an AI agent or an AI interface and have developed something and want to be able to share it publicly, I think 4 cents is like really cheap to be able to have that hosted online and available for anyone to access. And I kind of balanced like what's the minimum batch size that we could leverage that's still effective and cost effective. And so yeah, I think for now it's a one-time upload token, a one-time use.
Like to simplify the whole situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about this abstract buying of stamps? So did you use your own B note, or have just one big stamp that you resell for USDC, or how does that work?
So it is buying a stamp for each upload, and I think the way it works right now is there is a bunch of Swarm's token on my server, and when we get the USDC, I guess we're essentially selling stamps, right? I think that I wanted to like avoid, forcing people to use their own B node or use their own stamps or really, just kind of extract and hide all of that complexity. And so, this is really is like a more, like, I guess, centralized touch point in that it is a hosted API. There is a wallet there that has funds available to purchase and use stamps. And I think it's really just a starting point to see what the appetite is really.
Did you also, because I noticed you also kind of made your own Swarm gateway, Swarm router, actually, kind of a bit flipping the model. So
Right.
the server stays mostly static, or like each domain self-describes where it should go via DNS, or how can you just say a couple of words about that as well?
Yeah, so that's one of the challenges I ran into working with Swarm was, if I have a traditional domain like my own domain octalmage.com, and I want to point it to a site that's hosted on Swarm, I think one of the ways to do that now is you can have your gateway, kind of accept that traffic, but you need to run your own gateway for this to be able to, adjust the environment variables and tell it which domain you want to use. And so I think, there's a standard called the DNS leak standard, which allows you to, have any domain be mapped to any content that's hosted on Swarm. And I thought this is like a really powerful way to do it because, I've got 20 or so domains and I want to be able to just go and like set a DNS record that has the hash for the content. And that's all I need to do. And so, yeah, that's something I made called Swarm Router. And I think I want to make that available to more people.
Yeah, it absolutely should be. I mean, it's like another thing that's like going in the direction of just improving on the UX and expanding on what the options are and how can you even approach things. So yeah, thanks for sharing that as well. I'm not seeing any questions in stage chat. I mean, since we moved the call from Discord, I guess people are just following on X and then don't want to be bothered with going to Discord for just questions. But I'm sure as many are listening to this that there will be questions popping up. You can find Octal on our Discord server, and I'm pretty sure you'll be happy to answer anything there. And okay, since probably most of you are watching on over mobiles, and this was like a very tiny screen, can I please ask you to also share maybe this video that you've played in the end in Discord as well? So the links are there. Everybody can clearly go and check out what you did. But maybe this video as like just a fast demonstration would be nice if I can ask you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. So I'm really thrilled, and good luck with the next step in this story to basically hosting on decentralized storage. It's amazing to see this stack coming along. Thanks for being with us, everybody. This concludes our Swarm community call for January. The next one will be the last Thursday of the month, as always, and that falls to on 26th of February. So see you then. Take care and bye-bye for now.